dodging bullets, baby.
This is beyond fairy tale. It's inconceivable.
There it is. Doyle's done it.
Eastgate steps into poker history.
This is the greatest sport in the world.
When other sports bring the best players together, they call it an all-star game. But when it happens at the main event of the World Series of Poker, it's simply called extraordinary.
We're still running. We're still in the battle.
Sitting next to you, it's like ebony and ivory.
Sitting together tonight are 1, 2, 3, 4 heavy hitters, making for one explosive feature table.
I knew it.
Two-time bracelet winner J.C. Tran, 2008 main event champ Peter Eastgate, Eastgate's final table mate Dennis Phillips, and 2005 world champion Joe Hashem.
The main event is what every poker player aspires to be part of. I would love to win it again.
I've already made it farther than anybody thought, so I'm tickled to death.
I'm just focusing on playing my best game. I like my chances.
This is our big show. I can be the next world champ.
4 big guns at one table equals a whole lot of firepower. Tonight,
Damn.
only at the main event.
Tell me it's true.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lon McCarran with Norman Chad. Welcome to the 40th Annual World Series of Poker, presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky.
Rock and roll.
It is day 6, and just 146 players remain. As the field continues to dwindle, the tension continues to rise.
I'm not busting. Do you understand me? I'm not busting.
Big stacks and big names, the running theme with players like Elke Grospellier and Kenny Tran in the field. 7-time bracelet winner Phil Ivey over at table 2, and those 4 other big names sitting together at our featured table.
And what a quartet it is. 2-time bracelet winner J.C. Tran with 4 main event cashes in the last 6 years. Dennis Phillips, the likable amateur, seeking another improbable main event final table. 05 champ Joe Hashem now has 3 deep main event runs in 5 years. And the current champ Peter Eastgate trying to become the first to win back-to-back since Johnny Chan in 1988. Man, I haven't seen this much muscle sitting around one table since The Godfather.
Wake up. Tell me you've been going out every night.
Yeah, I've been until the main event.
Not until the main event do I become a party animal.
I got 10 hours sleep last night, man. I feel like Superman.
Action begins on J.C. Tran on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky pocket cam. He's got 10-8, and he will not play that. Over to Hashem now with ace, king offsuit.
55.
Raised to 55,000. The blinds at 10 and 20,000. Eastgate, queen 8. He'll lay it down. Ty Tran now with pocket kings, the 22-year-old from Houston.
Tran used to be a waiter at a sushi restaurant. Customers kept complaining the fish was uncooked, so he started playing more poker.
Tran with a big re-raise at 305,000. On the button is the 4th biggest stack in the room, Billy Kopp.
Rags.
And those rags go into the muck. Now Dennis Phillips, last year's 3rd place finisher, Queen Trey.
Rags.
And he knows what to do with those.
Well, what's Joe Hashem going to do with ace king and 600,000 chips in front of him?
You're a monster.
Me too.
I've got a real monster.
No, Tran's got the real monster. You have an ace and a king.
I know. Thing is, I can't call, right? So I've either got to push all in or I've got to fold. But my stomach, it's not feeling too good.
Give you a little belly rub.
I believe it's 1 player per belly. Well, as Hashem told us, does he want to risk his main event in this spot?
Doesn't feel right. I'm going to fold.
Joe's going to give it up.
Just fold. I make the wrong raise. I'm at the feature table. I'm nervous. I make the wrong raise.
Far out. Can I give myself high five?
I'm not fond of the self-high five.
Despite the overbet, Tran almost hooked a world champ, and Hashem released ace king and will continue another deep main event run. At this stage of the main event, we usually find more big-name pros on the golf course than in the Rio Poker Room. But this year, the field is still full of names like Ivy, Esfandiari, Prahlad, Schneider, and more. If I can borrow one of your lines, Norman, I am stoked.
Well, I'm going to outstoke you just thinking about this feature table. Dennis Phillips and Peter Eastgate are hoping to make back-to-back final tables. Eastgate and Joe Hashem are hoping to become two-time main event champions. Hey, I love the unknowns, but give me the big boys, a cold brew, and my beanbag chair, and I am one happy railbird.
Quite a treat to have two champs sitting side by side this late in the main event. It's been 21 years since Johnny Chan repeated as world champ. Peter Eastgate still has that opportunity. Let's take a look at some chip counts brought to you by PokerStars.net. Among the notable stacks in the room, Tom Schneider with almost 2.8 million, Phil Ivey approaching 2 million, and the biggest stacks in the room include Darvin Moon with almost 4 million. The overall leader is Warren Zacke with over 5 million. Warren in a hand right now, but he's behind holding pocket tens against the all-in aces of Ian Tavelli after a flop of 7-6-8.
The chip leader risking 20% of his stack on this all-in call.
Another 6 on the turn, Tavelli with aces up.
Zacke can still knock out Tavelli with a river 10 or 9.
It is a queen on the river, and Zacke will lose that hand and give up almost 1 million chips and ship them over to the 21-year-old student at Arizona State.
Lucky, I guess.
Despite that setback, the South African still clinging to the chip lead.
Elsewhere, 2007 Player of the Year Tom Schneider has a very big stack. He's about to see a river card with Adam Bilzerian on a board of Queen 10-4 Trey.
Schneider's had one of the bigger stacks in the room for quite a while. The remaining Bilzerian brother has a more modest stack.
There is Tom's wife Julie, a good player in her own right. River card now is a 5 of spades.
Was either one on a flush draw?
Bilzerian checks. Tom Schneider checks back. So let's see the cards. Bilzerian shows pocket eights, and I guess that's good enough. Schneider mucks.
Andy, you gotta smile. Cheer up. You're gonna have so many chips, we'll have 3 people stacking up. Let's go.
Yeah, I'd be scratching my head too, Tom.
All right, over to Leo Margetz of Spain, one of the final 2 women left in the main event. She is short-stacked and being very selective. At the same table, the only other woman left, Nicole Pepe of Long Beach, California. She's in a 3-way pot after the flop with Tommy Vitas and Bernard Perner. Pepe's checked.
Vitas, a 37-year-old poker pro who lives here in Las Vegas. Perner, a 36-year-old from Austria who got beat up a bit earlier in the main event in a few hands against Phil Ivey.
Vitas just bet 230,000. The Austrian, Bernard Perner, lays it down. Now Nicole Pepe.
Come on.
Moves all in.
Pepe's run into some bad luck and has been bleeding chips. The 30-year-old pro makes her stand here.
Vitas will need over 500,000 chips to call, but he will lay it down, and so Nicole Pepe will take her chips back and a bunch from Vitas and Perner. Cheering for Nicole is her aunt Lisa Pepe and husband Tad Jurgens, also a poker pro.
Tad and Nicole met at the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles. When I go to the bike, I only meet people who take my money, and I never get their name.
To our other featured table. Table 2 now, and a double bracelet winner from this year so far, Phil Ivey. Phil looks down at a jack. Second card's a king.
Phil Ivey is so good, he could win wearing striped pants.
He raises to 54,000 on Steve Begleiter. 8-7 of diamonds in the small blind.
Begleiter, formerly a top executive at Bear Stearns before its demise, now works at a private equity firm.
He calls for 44,000 more. Here's the flop. 9-ace-6. Ivey still ahead with king-jack. Begleiter an up and down straight draw, and he checks. Ivey puts together 80,000.
Ivey with the standard continuation bet.
The amateur Begleiter now.
Begleiter with the standard private equity call.
Turn card now. Trey of spades. Neither has paired up. Begleiter first to act. He checks.
All right, Phil. Now let's crush this equity pretender.
Ah, Phil checks.
That's the non-continuation check line.
River card is a queen. Ivey gets the check mark with king high.
Now, neither guy has anything.
Begleiter is going to take a shot. 175,000 into Phil Ivey.
Begleiter boldly going where no man should go, trying to outplay the great Phil Ivey with a river bluff. Good luck, sir. Phil does have nothing, but his nothing's better than the equity guy's nothing.
Does Phil know that, though? Phil's going to lay it down.
I had to shield my eyes, Lon. I couldn't watch someone out Ivy.
The amateur bag lighter made a perceptive and preemptive bet at Phil Ivey, forcing the pro to fold. I'm sure Phil is thinking, don't get cocky. Those chips are only on loan.
The World Series of Poker, presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky, 40th Annual Memories.
My favourite personal memory of the World Series of Poker was the 4 of clubs on the river against Steve Dannerman in the final hand of the 2005 World Series. In the heat of battle, you're so focused on what you're there to do that the bells and whistles don't actually go off just yet. It takes a good hour. You're kind of in the car going back and you're holding the bracelet and you're thinking, wow, is this real? For me, it was a feeling of calm. It was almost as if it was my destiny.
Joe Hashem still alive in this main event as he tries to upgrade his resume by winning a second title.
You won in 05, right?
Yeah, we were there, Lon. I think I predicted Phil Ivey to win that year.
Some average Joe, right?
Some guy with a loud...
Aussie. You know what? I didn't even know you and I was rooting for you.
What, final table? Really?
Hashem clearly has the respect of top poker pros, J.C. Tran included. There is the 2009 version of the World Championship bracelet waiting for November 10th when one of our remaining 139 players will claim it. Chip average right now about 1.4 million. Warren Zacky's still the top dog. To the outer tables, and a very calm-looking Joe Seabach faced with a 45,000 chip bet from French poker pro Fabrice Soulier.
I'm on.
And Joe moves all in.
This is Seabach's first deep run in the main event.
Soulier needs almost 300,000 to call.
He's got 300,000 alone in the second floor atrium.
I fold. You got it.
He's going to give it up, and Seabach will take that pot.
Thanks, bud.
Seabach made 2 final tables at his first World Series in 2005. Since then, he just kind of walks around being good looking.
And then there's his buddy, Gavin Smith, who just walks around.
This is 500,000?
Calling on hard times, my friend.
It's not hard times. Hard times being the guy walking around checking out his friends.
Gavin does a lot of that.
Gavin is Joe's co-host from Poker Road Radio. All right, to another table. There's Elke Grospellier, the former chip leader, trying to break a dry spell that has hit him in the last day or so. Elke and Fernando Gordo each with top pair, top kicker, but they're against Scott Cook, who flopped a set of 5s.
Elke and Gordo have got to love their hands, but either one could lose a whole lot of chips here.
Gordo bet the flop, called by the other 2. Here's the turn card, another tray. I really like Cook's chances here, Norman.
Both Elke and Gordo are drawn dead to the case king.
Gordo will bet, though, $250,000 with kings up. Grospellier, same hand, same commitment. Cook now with his full house. Just a smooth call.
I thought the 98% hand might put in 100% of his chips there.
River card 8 of diamonds, Cook with a check mark. Gordo checks.
Gordo gets cautious.
Elke checks as well.
Give it to him, Cook.
I can't do it.
You can't do it?
Cook just checks. Elke and Gordo show 2 pair, but Cook turns over the winner.
What a scaredy cat. Maybe Cook was afraid of kings full. I don't know, but he had a chance to knock out 2 players there, including one of the best left in the field.
And so Cook will take all those chips. Elke stuck in a funk and spiraling down. Back to the high-octane featured table now. Norman, I'm still in awe of Peter Eastgate, who's alive in his back-to-back quest.
And he handles himself so well, one likable 23-year-old.
Action will start on Billy Kopp, one of the top 5 chip stacks in the room, a student at the University of Kentucky, pocket aces.
And he studies hospitality management and tourism, so he's in the right place here at the Rio.
A raise to 52,000. Dennis Phillips with a couple of black 4s.
I think Dennis has studied hospitality management his whole life.
Phillips calls for 52,000. Nasser El Nasser with pocket queens.
Bad time for pocket queens.
He made a World Series final table this year. And with pocket queens, El Nasser putting together some chips. That's more than 52. He re-raises to 225,000.
The sound of that raise is music to Billy Kopp's ears.
So it's folded back to Kopp with aces. And he will re-pop it to 558,000.
Dennis Phillips says, my work here is done.
Yeah, 4s are no good at this table right now.
El Nasser needs to step carefully here.
Pocket queens for Nasser El Nasser.
Come on, then.
And he moves all in.
Call.
And Kopp with a quick call with those aces. El Nasser with his queens in trouble. Dennis Phillips glad he got out of dodge.
El Nasser decided to get frisky with his queens. Billy Kopp raised under the gun and then re-raised. That certainly could have tipped him off to aces or kings. Maybe El Nasser put Kopp on some type of move, but now he must be thinking, why?
There's the flop, El Nasser at risk. Deuce 4-10. Phillips would have hit a set.
Damn. Why didn't he just call?
Because if he just called, that could happen. Kopp happy to push out one of the other pocket pairs.
Broke me. Well, I doubled you up.
You'd have doubled me up.
As it stands, Kopp's ace is still ahead of El Nasser.
El Nasser still at risk.
A 10 on the turn, one more card to come.
Can't look.
Nasser El Nasser needs a queen, or he is wamboozled El Wamboozled.
The river card is a tray of spades. Kopp will win the hand and knock off Nasser El Nasser in 137th place.
Damn!
A missed opportunity for Dennis Phillips, but the aces got paid off, and with $4.6 million now, Billy Kopp is the second biggest stack in the room. Back inside the Rio, there is the newest banner in the room celebrating the youngest ever main event champ, the defending champ, Peter Eastgate of Denmark. He is at tonight's feature table.
Peter's only played in 2 main events. He won it last year, and he still could win it this year.
Action is on Eddie Teams. He owns a pizza parlor here in Las Vegas, Joe Pesci's Pizza. He has pocket jacks.
All in.
He's going to move all in for his last $277,000.
All in from under the gun.
Action on Joe Hashem in the small blind. Pocket eights. Hashem, his gut says no.
He's playing it very snug, and that's going to keep him out of trouble here.
Peter Eastgate now in the big blind. Ace, queen offsuit.
I'm all in.
And Eastgate will make the call to put Teams at risk.
Eastgate with not much more than Teams. Teams will be at risk, as you said, but the defending champion is in for most of his chips.
The loser of this hand will either be out or crippled. Hashem glad he got rid of his eights.
Eastgate has played almost the entire main event with a below-average chip stack.
Trying to take out Edward Teams right here. The flop is 10, ace 5. Eastgate takes the lead with a pair of aces.
World champs run good, and Teams now halfway back to shoving another pepperoni and onion pizza into the oven.
Turn card now is an 8. Oh, Hashem folded pocket eights.
Yeah, eights. Hey.
I'm so bad.
And like Dennis Phillips before him, a case of what might have been for Joe Hashem. Teams now needs a jack to survive and cripple Peter Eastgate.
The river card is a 6. Peter Eastgate will take that pot, knocking off any Teams. He'll win over $40,000.
I always win these. Yeah.
Peter Eastgate survives being on the edge again.
And Norman, look at Teams. A perfect display of how players describe being knocked out of the main event, stunned and momentarily lost.
Particularly when you get this deep, it's a shock to the system.
Why'd you put an 8 out there for? Seriously, why?
It's crazy. Like, you guys are folding pairs and, like, hitting sets.
No regrets for Eastgate on that hand. This year, Peter is proving that he is no fluke with another deep main event run that surprises even himself.
It's been an amazing ride. Going into the main event, if anyone would have told me I would have gone as deep, I would have assumed that they were kidding. I'm still alive, and I still got hope, and that's the good thing about it. Some of the other guys know how I play, and they know how much it could mean to me to go as deep as possible, so they might think I'm a little bit scared. If any of the guys are trying to beat Peter Eastgate just because he's a world champ, they're kind of playing the main event the wrong way, because $8.5 million, which is far more important than beating me.
Within probably the last many years, the best poker player who won the World Series of Poker main event sitting right there.
I'm the defending champion. That's what keeps me motivated. I still want to win. Because if you don't have the hunger to win, then you should really not be playing poker anymore. I'm still hungry.
He's been a wonderful and unshakable champion, humble, self-deprecating, and respectful of his elders. His mom must be proud.
6 all-ins?
4. Well, yeah, basically 6. But 2 of the times I wasn't all in, but I would have been very crippled if I lost. Very. No, it's all about puck controlling.
No, you're playing good, kid.
Eastgate and Hashem still attempting to join a most elite group of multiple main event winners. Each of these men won back-to-back titles. Moss, Unger, Brunson, and Chan. Can it be done again? It's not out of the equation. Peter Eastgate still with that chance. To the outer tables, Elke Grospellier with head in hand. He has a huge decision for all his chips. Scott Citron just raised all in with pocket kings. Elke with ace king.
Elke was rolling early at this main event, but he has struggled since.
All in.
Elke pre-flop will go all in. Citron with a chance to knock off one of the hottest players in the world.
Well, ace king has not been a good hand for Elke today.
The flop is trade deuce-deuce. Grospellier needs a lot of help.
Yeah, Elke, as you can see, doesn't want it to end here.
Turn card is a 6. One more card to come.
The 25-year-old Milwaukee pro looking for it to hold. Elke desperately hoping his main event can continue. It will only continue if he hits an ace on the river.
The river card is a jack, and that is it. Scott Citron knocking off Elke Grospellier in 122nd place.
Elke with a fine showing, but his hot streak over the last year couldn't carry him any further at this main event.
He once had a grip on this tournament, now takes the long, lonely walk to the rail.
The World Series of Poker, presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Main event.
Welcome back to the Rio Poker Room and day 6 of the main event. Let's check in with Phil Ivey at table 2. And on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky pocket cam, Phil has a deuce and an ace.
I wonder if there's a stat on whether Phil raises more or less often when he's getting massaged.
He's always getting massaged. A raise to $54,000. Now to Ryan Hart in the big blind with 8 deuce.
He's a finance manager at a car dealership.
And he's going to make the call. Norman, why would he do that to himself? He knows his only shot is to outplay the best player in the world after the flop. And here is the flop. 6, 10, 8. Hart hit his pair of 8s. And he checks.
Well, if you're going to hit middle pair, playing 8 deuce, you should do something with it.
Ivy missed the flop and checks.
No continuation bet from Phil Ivey this time.
Turn card, Queen of Spades. Hart checks again.
I'm not sure what Ryan Hart's game plan is at this point.
I know Ivy's game plan is to win pots, and he's going to bet $80,000 right now.
Well, that bet says, I'm Phil Ivey, and you work in a car dealership. Give me the pot, give it to me now. Ivey reads the amateur as weak.
Ryan Hart looks into those intimidating eyes of Phil Ivey and lays it down.
What was he doing in that hand? If you're going to mess with Phil Ivey, you better be fully committed.
Pretty much an easy layup for Phil Ivey against Hart there. As this field boils down, it must be gratifying for the top pros to be making such an impact. At the outer tables, there is Prahlad Friedman still in it, but he'll lay that hand down.
Prahlad's just chillaxing. What the dilly, yo?
Bracelet-winning pro Kenny Tran is also still in this main event, and he's in a hand right now with Joe Cotta, a pro from Michigan.
Kenny getting low on chips.
Kenny checks the flop. Cotta pushes Tran all in. They call him Sick Call Kenny, but he won't make that call.
Joe Cotta, just 21 years old, and Kenny Tran is aging fast.
Kenny under 1 million chips now. Acton Nicole Pepe facing a pre-flop re-raise to $190,000 from England's James Aikenhead.
Aikenhead, a poker pro, former train conductor on a London commuter route.
Pepe will make the call for $130,000 more. Heads up to the flop, tray 10-4. Aikenhead puts together 260,000 chips. Pepe now.
Come on, man.
Moves all in. Her husband, Tad Jurgens, looking nervous now.
You may recall Aikenhead, runner-up last year in a bracelet event to Grant Hinkle.
Pepe made a re-raise like this on a 10-high board earlier and got her opponent to fold, and it happens again, and she'll take that pot.
I think she keeps getting her money in with the best of it.
So Aunt Lisa and her husband love it. Support from family and friends means so much at this part of the tournament. Back to our featured table, only 118 players remain. The average chip stack over 1.6 million. And with Warren Zaki dropping back, the new chip leader is that man, Billy Kopp, with 4.7 million. Across this table, Peter Eastgate with 660,000, Hashem with only 450,000, and J.C. Tran in serious trouble with less than 14 big blinds in his stack.
Table's going to tip over on that side. Boom.
I've been pushing my left elbow down this whole time.
We're holding the table down.
Even if the rest of the table combined their chips, I think Billy Kopp's almost got him covered.
The short stack pros looking for something they can double up with. Jack 9 for Hashem.
Hashem down to 25 big blinds, but patient.
He folded. Eastgate with ace 7 of hearts. He folds.
Eastgate also patient with just over 30 big blinds left.
To Dennis Phillips with about an average chip stack. Pocket 10s.
Phillips in the process of buying Broadway Trucking, where he's worked several years.
A raise to 55,000 with his pocket 10s. J.C. Tran in the big blind. King, queen off.
J.C. part of a tight circle of poker friends. Nam Lee, Chino Ream, Amnon Filippi, Michael Mizraki.
J.C. with the call. He'll go heads up against Dennis Phillips. Tran short stacked. Looks at queen 4 deuce, and he takes the lead with that queen.
JC says he used to have trouble in late stages of tournaments, but a couple of bracelets tell you he's improved in that area.
He checks top pair. Phillips with his pocket 10s.
80.
Hopes that Tran missed that flop. That's 80,000.
Well, with that bet, Phillips wants to find out if those 10s are still good.
I'm all in. All in.
What does he know now? Tran moves all in.
10s are no good.
140 more.
A decision here for Dennis Phillips.
Your queen's good.
Oh.
He called JC's hand, but still makes the call.
Yeah, it's a so-so call from Dennis. Chances are he was behind, and he's not getting the right price.
Tran at risk. Turn card is a 5. Looks good now for JC.
Phillips will need a 10 to send JC Tran to the rail.
River card is another queen, and trips for JC Tran will double him up.
JC Tran will take the double up, but he's still got less than 30 big blinds.
Yeah, about $1 million or so short of the chip average.
Seriously, what's the J and C stand for?
Just call.
Just call.
Just call.
Just call.
Just calling pre-flop worked for Tran that time, but it's going to take a lot more to realize his vision of being a member of the November 9.
Series of Poker presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Main event.
Welcome back inside the Rio and the 2009 main event, and welcome to the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand. Your chance at home to match wits with Norman while trying to guess the concealed hole cards.
Nobody will play me heads up anymore, Lon, because they have seen my pristine reading skills on national TV.
Dennis Phillips folds on Daniel Nielsen, a 22-year-old from Australia with the wild card hand.
Nielsen attended the University of Technology in Sydney. I believe they are the Raging Cajuns.
A raise to 58,000. Joe Hashem with pocket 8s again.
Well, Nielsen's in middle position, so I'm going to put him on a suited ace-10.
Hashem calls from the cutoff for 58,000.
Hashem is also putting him on an ace-10, I believe. Imagine that. Now, normally Joe might raise there, but he's trying to preserve some chips and see the flop cheaply.
The blinds folded. Hashem and Nielsen heads up. 7 trade king. Hashem got no improvement. Nielsen first to act. He checks.
No continuation bet from Nielsen. It's possible Hashem knows Nielsen from Australia. Not a lot of people there.
42.
Hashem will bet 42,000 with his 8s.
Joe's thinking my 8s are good if the king didn't hit him, and I don't think it did. So he bets and hopes that ends matters.
This will be Nielsen's second World Series cash. He thinks about it. And 42,000 is enough to call.
Just calls. I don't think he's calling with ace-10, so I'm wrong.
Turn card, queen of clubs.
Maybe Nielsen has ace-7 and hit middle pair, which is still good news for Hashem.
Nielsen checks again.
Now I've got Nielsen on ace-7. I go with the flow.
Hashem slows down.
Before he changes his mind.
Calling for a quick river card. Another queen on the river.
So Hashem left with queens and 8s.
Nielsen.
Again?
Yeah, he's now betting 170,000.
Really? He's bet 2/3 the pot? I was wrong about ace-10. He's not betting ace-7. I think he has Joe beat, but I don't know what he has. That queen could not have hit him. Maybe he's got a weak king and now decides it's good.
Shaking like a leaf in the winter.
And maybe he's trying to bluff Joe off a marginal hand because Joe's low on chips and might not want to commit more here. It's hard to read University of Technology dropouts. I'd fold Joe.
Can you show me if I fold?
Don't show him. Don't.
Show me if I fold?
One Aussie to another? Yeah.
Promise?
Make him watch ESPN.
And Hashem Short stacked. Lays it down. Nielsen had the king, and he will win the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wildcard hand. And he shows Hashem.
Kept his promise. Nice kid. I had no clue.
Nice hand, buddy. Thanks for showing.
Nice hand, just like good luck, commonly heard in the poker room, but are players sincere when they utter those words? That's what we're talking about in this edition of The Nuts.
Nice hand.
Nice hand, sir.
Nice hand is code for you're an idiot.
Deep down, you're saying go yourself.
Nice hand.
Nice hand.
It's all about intent, intonation.
Shoot. Nice hand, sir. I your guts.
I kind of mean it, sort of, sometimes.
Nice hand.
All right. It could be said sarcastically, like,
nice hand, Barry.
or it could be said with genuine admiration for how the person played the hand.
Nice hand.
Most amateurs, they say nice hand. I'm pretty sure they mean it.
Nice hand, Eric.
Thank you. Bill Ivey says nice hand. He's being sarcastic.
Nice play.
Trust me.
Good luck, kid.
Good luck.
Gentlemen, good luck.
There is no such thing as good luck.
Good luck, baby. I say good luck to you, but you know, baby, inside me, I say good luck to Scotty Moore.
I want them to have the worst luck they've ever experienced.
Oh my God.
Everybody knows that's what we want. Let's just be truthful about it. Don't do it to me like that. Good luck. What do you mean good luck? Bad luck to you.
Good luck to you.
Hope you lose. Better luck next time, dude. Thanks for playing.
Enough with nice hand and good luck. Just say mazel tov. It fits all occasions.
Tom Schneider is hoping his luck continues. He's mixing it up with John Martin and Ludovic Laquet after the flop. The flop was 9-king-5.
Martin on the button called a pre-flop raise from Laquet, and then Schneider re-raised from the big blind.
Almost $1 million in the pot. Schneider's going to lead out for $650,000. Laquet folds and runs. Martin re-raises enough to put Tom Schneider all in.
Flop was set, huh? I call.
And Schneider calls. Let's see the hands. Schneider with pocket aces. Martin second best with kings.
Big hands bump into each other. Schneider all in, and we have a $3.5 million chip pot.
Wow, tough hand for Martin to get away from. Ran into the pocket aces.
Full double. Double trouble now.
Julie Schneider keeping a close watch on things. Turn card now is a 10. No help to Martin.
Tom Schneider, the one-time chip leader, is at risk, but only a river king would knock him out.
It's another 10. Martin comes up short. Schneider will double up.
That's great, Tom.
Schneider with almost $3.5 million chips now. The aces got paid off big time.
Why did I clean that?
John Martin bemoans his fate.
Martin's bad luck is a boon to Tom Schneider, and that big pot puts this dangerous player back in the thick of it.
The World Series of Poker, presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Main event.
Back at Rio right now, the magician Antonio Esfandiari trying to knock out the steelworker Dwayne Stacy. Esfandiari with pocket nines.
Thank you.
Mazel tov.
Dwayne Stacy with king-jack offsuit. And now the flop. A set for Esfandiari, a straight draw for Stacy. Turn card is a 6, and Stacy still way behind.
Stacy's going to need a 10 for a straight, or his main event is over.
River card is an ace. Esfandiari will win the hand. Dwayne Stacy, who finished 97th last year in the main event, goes out 113th here in 09. The former magician creating a habit out of making his opponent's chips disappear.
It's the massage.
Mazel tov.
Antonio with a better than average chip stack and massage. Elsewhere, Bradley Craig is standing up. His ace-queen is all in against the pocket kings of pro Noah Boken.
Craig shouldn't even be in this position. Boken had raised and re-raised pre-flop. Craig called all in for $1.2 million.
Yes! Oh, and Craig flops aces up to take control of this hand.
Craig once down to 400 chips early in the main event. Mr. Chip in a Chair is living large.
Turn card is no help to Boken.
Craig has to dodge a king to keep the chip in a chair dream alive.
It's another deuce, and Bradley Craig doubles up again.
Craig says it's destiny. It's hard to argue with him.
Come here, King.
What can I have?
Mazel tov.
Boken, a solid pro from Amsterdam, not happy that Craig challenged his kings with ace-queen. And now, Bradley Craig with 2.5 million chips and a chair. Elsewhere with Jack 9 of diamonds, James Aikenhead will try to knock out Randy Propson, who leads pre-flop with ace 8.
Our Yahtzee guy got very short stacked.
What's your confidence level?
Pretty high.
Propson all in for his last 300,000. The flop, and there's an ace for Propson.
It's not Yahtzee, but it's close enough. Propson headed for a much-needed double-up.
Propson has to feel confident. Here's the turn card, is a queen. Aikenhead with a straight draw.
Just brings a gut shot, right?
10 would give Aikenhead a straight.
Come on the river, right?
Did I hear you say the word 10?
No, I said only.
What's wrong with you? Walk away.
Propson just needs to dodge a 10.
River card. Oh, is the 10! Aikenhead with a straight to the ace to eliminate Propson.
Brutal runner ends his day.
I should have concentrated.
Mazel tov.
Propson earns over $40,000. Aikenhead earns the rest of Randy's chips. Let's get back to the stacked featured table that includes 2 world champs and several other players to be feared.
What's going on, Joe? Man, we don't get the big pair. We the little itty-bitty ones.
J.C. Tran has once again fallen on hard times. He's got about 150,000 chips now. All right, action on Dennis Phillips.
In the cutoff.
Phillips looks down at King 10 offsuit.
The hat he wore last year, he retired. This is a new Cardinals cap for Phillips.
He will raise it to 65,000. Dennis is donating this hat to charity. It would be more valuable with your signature on it, by the way. J.C. Tran with ace 6 of clubs in the small blind.
J.C. says the life of a poker pro not that glamorous. Too much travel, too much bad food.
He calls for 53,000 more. We'll go heads up with Phillips. The flop is deuce 9-10. Phillips with a pair of 10s.
JC's call's a little odd. He's only got less than 100,000 chips left.
And they're all in the middle now. He moves all in.
You don't have to call and ruin your image.
No. I have to call. You got me killed.
So Phillips and his pair of 10s will try to knock out a very powerful J.C. Tran.
Air on the flop for J.C., but he pushes.
Ace one time.
And if J.C. had pushed pre-flop, Dennis would have called then, so it works out the same.
Tran at risk.
Time for a bad beat.
Let's see the turn.
Turn card now is a queen. Tran down to his last card.
Well, we just saw a 4-outer for a bad beat. J.C. needs a 3-outer. He has to have an ace.
The river card is a tray. J.C. Tran comes up short. Knocked out by Dennis Phillips. And you can tell by the players' response to that elimination how much respect there is for J.C. Tran.
Peter, good luck.
His 4th main event cash since 2004, and this is J.C.'s highest finish. Well done.
You making some money?
J.C. goes out in 108th place, and one more feared player hits the rail, but nobody should let their guard down as plenty of powerful pros remain. Welcome back to the Rio. 3 players currently over 4 million chips, led by Billy Kopp with 4.6 million. Other notable players in the field, Phil Ivey with 1.8 million, the chip average, while Joe Hashem is riding the red zone with only 170,000. Action on Dennis Phillips with almost 1.5 million. He looks down at pocket aces.
Dennis 3rd last year in the main event, closing in on cracking the top 100 this year. It's remarkable, and it's not all pocket aces.
The aces raised to 65,000. Hashem with Jack 4. Into the muck.
Hashem exasperated as his stack dwindles.
Peter Eastgate with Queen Jack of diamonds.
Speaking of remarkable, last year's champion also trying to crack the top 100.
He calls for 65,000 on Frank Rusnak in the big blind. Ace 9 of spades.
Rusnak used to be a sports writer at the Chicago Sun-Times, one of my favorite newspapers.
Sports writer with a big stack. Go figure.
Good for you.
The flop now, 3-handed. Phillips with the aces. 4, Trey King. Phillips is still best with the aces.
That flop missed everybody. It might have hit the valet in the parking lot.
Rusnak checks his no pair. Phillips checks the best hand.
Phillips gets coy.
Eastgate now with Queen Jack.
Well, he's going to try to use his position to end matters.
That's 105,000. Rusnak folds.
Phillips isn't going anywhere. Even if the king hit Peter, Phillips would still be in great shape.
Phillips with a smooth call.
And Phillips looks like he's trying to trap Peter Eastgate.
So heads up between the 2 remaining November Niners. It is a 9 on the turn. Eastgate with a gut shot. Phillips added a flush draw. Phillips checks again. Eastgate knocked Phillips out of last year's main event.
He is aggressive, he is in position, and it looks like he's going to take another stab at it.
He makes it 175,000. I'm sure Phillips would like to return the knockout favor.
I'm all in.
And he does move in, enough to put Eastgate at risk.
Well, that'll be it for Peter Eastgate. He's not going to risk the rest of his chips here. Dennis Phillips played it beautifully.
Eastgate did make the laydown, but he hates to give up any chips at this point of the tournament, especially being as short-stacked as he is. Let's get over to table 2, where Phil Ivey has continued to rebuild his chip stack, and he's doing it, of course, under the watchful eyes of his fan club, Mel and Pat Humphreys.
They're nice folks. That's a big button.
Oh, there's your fans right there. Longtime fans.
Absolutely. I've known him since I was like 18 years old.
Action at table 2 on Bob Whalen, a 51-year-old former house painter, now plays poker full-time, ace-king.
Looks a little grumpy. Lighten up, Bob. You're in the main event and doing great.
A raise to $75,000. Norman, look who's here.
The dermatologist?
Alex Jalali, the German dermatologist with ace-queen off.
He's got such nice skin.
And he will make the call for $75,000 to Phil Ivey with pocket kings.
My man with pocket kings in the small blind ball game.
I'm all in.
All in. Whalen, ace-king, that will go all in.
I think the dermatologist will be checking his appointment book.
I wonder if he got your memo, Norman, about ace-queen. And he does fold it.
I'm all in against Phil Ivey.
I'm all in against Phil Ivey. The 6 deadliest words in poker.
Ivey shows his 2 kings.
Nice hand.
Mazel tov.
So Whalen will need good luck to come from behind and beat Ivey and remain in the main event. The flop is 5-Jack-4. That's a good flop for Phil.
And Whalen's still looking for an ace or runner straight.
Turn card is a 7. He's still looking to spike a winner.
Ivey about to pad his stack. Bob Whalen has to have a king.
The river card is another jack, and Ivey wins another hand, knocks off another player. Bob Whalen goes out in 105th place.
I like Ivey more than Aussie. It's more subdued.
They'll all get there eventually.
So with that win, Ivey shrinks his main event field as Whalen seeks an exit. Ivey wins a pot of almost $1.4 million, and he's back on a roll. Now to the featured table, where we've talked a lot about the strong lineup there, but it's the big names who are getting bounced around. J.C. Tran went out, Eastgate is leaking chips, and the 05 champ Joe Hashem in dire straits with Jack-9 of clubs.
I guess I'm all in.
Hashem doesn't even have 5 big blinds left.
Players all in?
So he'll push. Billy Kopp with pocket 4s.
Well, we're going to have a caller from the small blind, and it's the chip leader.
Kopp with over 4 million chips. Look at all those chips. And he does put together a call to put Hashem at risk.
Slow pair.
Let's see the hands.
Hashem the favorite, but he's behind right now.
He can afford it. Stop calling for a 4.
Hashem's a main event monster. In 2005, he beat a field of 5,600. In 06, he was 238th in a field of 8,700. And now, even if he were knocked out here, he'd finish 103rd in a field of 6,400. That's 3 finishes in the top 3% of massive fields.
Hashem very popular with the poker fans here at the Rio. But Billy Kopp trying to knock him out right now. There's the flop. King 7-7. Hashem picks up a flush draw and more outs.
Yeah, if another king comes, putting 2 pair on the board, Hashem's jack kicker would win.
There's no way I win this.
Pretty sure you can't lose from here.
Huge number of outs.
Kopp's pocket 4 is still good, but Hashem now a 3-2 favorite to win the hand, and this crowd clearly wants to see the champ stick around. Billy Kopp in the role of bad guy here against the sentimental favorite.
All right, Hashem looking to catch something. There's an ace. Oh, he picked up some outs, but he needs to hit.
Ace, king, jack.
3 more.
Ace, king, 9, jack, club. Wow.
A lot of help still in the deck for Joe Hashem.
The 05 world champ looking for an ace, king, jack, 9, or club, or it's over.
The river card. Oh, and Hashem comes up empty. Billy Kopp wins the hand and knocks off 05 world champion Joe Hashem in 103rd place.
Good luck, Good luck, buddy.
Mazel tov.
Good luck, mate.
Mazel tov.
Good luck, mate.
Mazel tov.
The 43-year-old Hashem has made quite an impression on the World Series since first coming here in 05. Billy Kopp knocks out 1 world champion, leaving only Peter Eastgate, the defending champion. Kopp now up to almost 5 million chips.
Few have done it better than Joe Hashem in main event history. Once again, he plays like a champion.
He is one of the game's premier performers. We began this day 6 session with 4 top pros anchoring our featured table.
That's brutal.
Now we are down to 2 as the deep main event runs of J.C. Tran and Joe Hashem have finally come to a close.
I'm sad, but it's great to be this deep in the main event every time. I'll take it.
Perhaps not so pleased are the 41 other players who said goodbye.
Next year's my year.
But this year is still the year for those who remain, including the last 2 women and several elite pros.
All in against Phil Ivey.
The countdown to the final table has begun. 2 men who have been there before can get there again, and one of them can be recrowned champion.
I always win these.
For Norman Chad, I'm Lon McCarran. Plenty more to come from the World Series of Poker.